Hey, I'm doing a video today about whether or not we're living in a simulated reality. So I know that sounds kind of like a bizarre proposal, but I guess scientists are saying that it's actually not that bizarre. It's actually more likely that we are than that we're not. So you can look up some videos by George Smoot, S-M-O-O-T, or there's several TED Talks about us living in a simulated reality. In fact, Elon Musk says that there's only a 1 in a billion chance that we're not living in a simulated reality, saying it's much more likely that we are. So, how would this even be possible? Well, Elon sort of describes how fast our AI is advancing from the video games of 40 years ago to how realistic they are now. They're actually creating robots and AIs that are self-learning. So that means that they've installed programs in them that will take feedback from their environment, and they will learn and adapt as they go. Kind of like humans learn and adapt as we go, depending on our environment, right? So this seems kind of outrageous, but I guess the physics, the science is kind of backing up that, the evidence kind of supports that we are living in a simulated reality. So, what are the implications for that as souls, as divine beings? Does that mean that we're not even real, that we're just a computer program, that we're just living out somebody's fantasy? Well, it's not quite that simple. I do think that our mind, our brain, our body is a simulated reality. Now, it's a very complex, highly evolved simulated reality where the programming is not just on a computer screen with ones and zeros with electrical wiring. It's much more advanced than that, to where the programming could actually be put into, or the code could actually be put into our DNA. And it could even be coded into our astrology, where we're born, when we're born. It could be coded into our name. It could be coded into all kinds of things. So, but we think, but I have free will. I'm a free will being. Well, maybe, or maybe you are kind of, okay? So, in video games, the characters have choice, but it's within a context of no choice. So Milton Erickson was a famous hypnotist who brought this to light. He would ask his clients, would you rather go into hypnosis quickly or easily? But the implication is you're going into hypnosis either way. It's like asking, a child, do you want to eat your carrots or would you rather have peas? But they're definitely eating their vegetables either way. So it's an appearance of choice within a context of no choice. So, I used to wonder, and the Bible talks about free will and it also talks about predestination. I could kind of never, jive with that, like how can both be true? But if you think about this possibility, actually both could be true. So we were coded with a certain script. This is your DNA, this is your natural personality. It's influenced by all these other codes, as in astrology, etc. But within that, because you're a self-learning AI, you have choices within that context of no choice. Does that make sense? So, I may, if I go to college, then this, and this will unfold. If I decide to go to tech school, then this, and this would unfold. If I make the choice to have children, then this will open this doorway. Kind of like in video games. I go into this level and I'm fighting these characters. If I decide to go into this other part of the game, then this other stuff comes to light. But the no choice is that in a video game, the character can't just go, I'm tired of fighting. I'm going to go fly. I want to go on an adventure. I want to do something completely different. That character is limited to choices within that game. And the implications for us are the same, that as long as we, as soul beings, are locked in with our mind, with our consciousness, really not our mind, because our mind can't really be truly free in this reality, then we're limited by the choices within a context of no choice. So the real key is to understand that we are soul beings who incarnated into this mind-body complex that is nothing more than a computer-coded machine or vessel, human vessel, that's kind of like a robot. But we as souls are much greater than that. We are limitless. We're connected to all information, true potential. But we can't access that through the mind, because the mind is just a computer that's subject to coding and programming. You know, my primary job is a hypnotherapist and NLP practitioner, and I really love how powerful they are to change that program of the mind. As self-learning AIs, if you will, we may be born into a family that's a happy, loving, well-adjusted family. We may be born into a family that's dysfunctional and abusive. We're taking that feedback as self-adapting, self-learning beings or machines, and we are either well-adapted or very maladapted based on the input that we get. Hypnosis and NLP are marvelous tools to change that coding quickly, almost miraculously, but that's still only one level of growth, one level of evolution, because you're only changing the coding of the brain and the mind that allow you to have a better experience in this reality, in this simulation. And of course we want to feel happy, but it's kind of like in the movie The Matrix, where he made the choice to go back in as long as he could be a movie star, as long as he could be rich. You know, choosing that fake reality as long as it could feel pleasant. And a lot of us are so focused only on, mastering this simulated reality and, having the money and having, whatever level of success, however we define that we don't realize it's all a limited version of us. It's all choice within a context of no choice. It's all so much less than the truth of who we are as limitless beings. And even just because we die, we don't suddenly escape the game and become conscious. You know, they talk about the karmic wheel and being reincarnated and having to come back over and over and over until we really achieve enlightenment. Until we truly awaken, we will continue to come back and play this game over and over and over again. How many times can your character die in a video game and they come back and do it again? It's the same thing for us. So the true winning, the true, goal is to realize that none of this is real. It's all a distraction from the truth of who we are. So to go within, connect to our divine, limitless consciousness, which can't be interpreted through the coding of the mind or the brain. It's through the heart. It's through that feeling center. It's through an expansion of consciousness that is beyond words. So if we want to really win this game, it's to lift out of it, to realize that winning by the rule set of this game is not really winning. It's just still staying in the game. So we may be living in a simulated reality. Elon says we probably are living in a simulated reality, but we're not just an AI. We're not just codes and ones and zeros. We are a soul being incarnated into that. And when we truly awaken, we truly ascend, then we will rise above that to the true limitlessness. Money will be obsolete. Even Jesus showed us this. He turned water to wine. He turned, 5 loaves and 2 fish into enough to feed 5,000 people. When we truly ascend above this reality rule set, the things that we think are so appealing that we just have to have, just won't even have any appeal anymore, because we'll know that we have access to so much more than that we are so much more than that. And so I invite you, challenge you to go within and really tune into the truth of who you are, pure consciousness, and let go of trying to win this game, because this isn't the real game. Namaste.